We have Mr. Pushkar N. Patil as our honorable judge for today's moot court. He is practicing in family matter and criminal matters, specializing in cases of POCSO and IPC since 2014. Appeared in over 300 criminal cases so far, covered in media for about 75 times, presently tied up with Reddy and Reddy Law Firm, Patil Mantri Association, and Patil Mahubani Law Firm. Sir, we are grateful for your company here. We have Mr. Krishna Priya Lahiri and Mr. Ramcharan Dwivedi as our petitioner, and Mr. Aldrin Zuthan and David Mason Lunga as a respondent. Sir, here I am reading the rules. That is that each speaker has a time for 15 minutes. The first speaker can yield their time to the second speaker after they are done. Extra time may be granted up to your discretion. On your discretion, you are free to give the feedbacks to the speakers after they are done. And rebuttal round of each team are of 1 minute, and sub rebuttal, if any, it is up to your discretion. In case only one participant shows up, they will be judged in the same manner as there were two participants. So, and court etiquettes must be followed by every participant. So I'll request the petitioner to start the proceedings.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. Before I start the moot, I just want to make a small request. My webcam is placed at the left bottom corner, so it might appear as I'm looking somewhere else when I'm facing it.
It's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
May it please the court, I'm Krishna Priya Lahiri, counsel for the plaintiff. Counsel shall advance two submissions referred to as issue 1 and issue 2, allotting 6 minutes to each issue, 1 minute for statement of facts and 2 minutes for the questions. May it please the court, the counsel seeks permission to proceed with the statement of facts.
Yes, please.
Much obliged. The Republic of Ripplamento is the largest democracy in the world. Due to international pressure, the highest court of Republic of Ripplamento decriminalized homosexuality and furthermore held that consensual sexual acts of adults were no longer criminal. Consequently, LGBTQ community filed a petition for granting civil rights, but the highest court of Republic of Ripplamento dismissed the plea for granting civil rights for the members of LGBTQ community by stating that by granting civil rights, it would be a threat to moral and ethos of the country. Further, the highest court of Republic of Ripplamento became seized of the matter and all the cases stood transferred. May it please the court, the counsel seeks permission to proceed with the argument 1 and 2.
Yes, please.
Much obliged. Whether or not Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in a manner which includes LGBTQIA community. Much obliged, your lordship. It is humbly submitted that Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act can be read in a manner which includes members from LGBTQIA community, because by not doing so, it violates Article 14, 15, and 21 of Constitution of Republic of Ripplamento. Article 14 being right to equality, Article 15 being right against discrimination, and Article 21 being right to life. It is humbly submitted that it was held in Arun Kumar and others versus Inspector General that a marriage solemnized between a male and a trans woman, both professing Hindu religion, was a valid marriage under Hindu Marriage Act. And under Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act, the term bride cannot have a static or immutable meaning. Your lordship, the counsel pleads to note the important point. Under Section 5, the Act term, under Section 5 of the Act, the term bride cannot have a static or immutable meaning. And further, in the Court of Appeal, Ontario Halprin versus AG Canada, it was held that existing common law definition of marriage, to the extent that it only referred to one man and one woman, violated the equality rights of same-sex couples and reformulated the definition as voluntary union for life of two persons, of excluding all others. Your lordship, please note the important point, the voluntary union for life of two persons excluding all others. And in Sunil Babu Pant versus Nepal government, it was held that every person has an inherent right to marriage, regardless of their sexual orientation. Your lordship, it can be deduced that Hindu Marriage Act can be read including LGBTQI community, depending on Arun Kumar versus Inspector General judgment. And Your Lordship, the Council advances the argument by stating that Special Marriage Act is gender neutral and it can be read including LGBTQIA community. It is humbly submitted that Section 4 to 14 of the Act deals with solemnization of special marriages. As per the said section, the marriage between any two persons may be solemnized under this Act. If a male has completed 21 years of age and the female has completed 18 years of age, the usage of words two persons indicates that the section is gender neutral and not gender specific or binary.
Krishna, just tell me, the definition used in both this Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act denotes bride and bridegroom. So are you trying to explain over here that two males can be referred one as a bride and one as a bridegroom? Or you are referring as both of them should be referred as bridegrooms?
Indeed, Your Lordship, I would address the same. I would address the same thing in the much further in the argument by stating that while referring to the gender, we should not only consider the physical aspects of the body, we should also consider their mental status and how they perceive themselves and their mental perception about themselves. And we also have.
Krishna, let's discuss this matter. You are pretty aware about the facts. I am pretty aware about the facts. I want specific answers. We are not against the community. We are not against their sexual orientation. What I am trying to say here is, why marriage? If you go through the definitions, if you go through the case law, the court is not being oblivious to any of their rights. We are only seeking over here the explanation as to what marriage is going to change for you.
Okay, so like, first of all, indeed, Your Lordship, first of all is that it hampers right to freedom of religion, 15, by not allowing them to getting married according to their religion. And secondly, and it amounts to discrimination, because by not allowing them to get married according to their own religion, it amounts to discrimination and indirectly or directly we label them as second-class citizens in our own country. And we also know that they are already like being much oppressed and they don't really have any rights in our country. Like by at least granting them civil rights or like including them in our religious community would destigmatize the community and further lead to a little more change in our society. Because like ages ago, like at least same love marriages or like women working was stigmatized. But later, due to the law, it was destigmatized. In the same way, we can also destigmatize the community by including them in our law and by allowing them to marry respect to their religions and all.
See, my concern is very simple. The constitution of, we are using the term reprimendo, is giving the rights to religious minorities to hold their own religion in their own specific way, having their own anatomy and autonomy. So now tell me one thing. You have referred the case law of Sunil Babu and Pant versus Nepal government. Have you read the entire case law, or are you referring only to the part of the observation that was given?
Your Lordship, I'm only referring to the part of observation given.
So my concern is whether the Nepal government, the case law that you have referred, whether Nepal government has allowed the marriages of same sex.
But I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that.
It's fine if you're not aware. No problem. It's fine. I'm not going to scold you or anything. Why I'm asking you? Because you are a participant over here. And tomorrow you are going to be standing in court. What you are going to refer, you should know what is passed in it. So now this court, as in me, I'll tell you one thing. In Sunil Babu Pant versus Nepal government, although the observations were made that the laws are not in accordance to human nature because they are not allowing same-sex marriages. So a bill was proposed in the Nepal government to propose something to permit them. The court had given a suggestion, why not introduce a new act? Why the existing act? Now you give me an explanation as to issue number one, how it can be read. We are not against the gender. Nepal government itself has not introduced the concept of same marriage. And you are referring to a judgment who has himself not given the same judgment.
But also, I also refer to OG Halpern versus Ontario Halpern versus AG Canada. But in Canada, it's up to the religious communities if they recognize the
Right.
same-sex marriages or not. But
Right.
it's also you cannot force them, sir. Like, but
So now you tell me
you
now.
should at least the law should not discriminate them like by saying that explicitly that no, you cannot marry. It should be at least up to religious institutions that they decide that if they want to recognize the marriages or not.
So what, according to you, is a concept of marriage, and why only Hindu Marriage Act and specific Special Marriage Act should have the definition?
Uh, Indeed, Your Lordship. According to me, the definition of marriage is about ultimate companionship, love, and affection. It's not about the genders or like all the physical aspects of it. It's much more about connection between a soul, which has also been recognized in all the religions like Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam. We say that when the two people get married, it's a union of souls and not
Right.
just bodies.
But
So
is it not a concept for procreation?
it is a concept for procreation. For that matter, if the argument that has to if that argument has to be uh, considered, then all the sterile couples or like all the impotent couples should not be able to get married, right?
Hmm.
But they are being able to adopt or like move on with their lives with some or the other reason. Then why should not LGBTQ community? And it's also by discriminating like this, it also hampers right to life and the right against discrimination and right to equality. I'm sorry, right to equality. Because under our constitution, Article 14 and Article 21, we also guarantee it to non-citizens. Then why not our own citizens?
Article 29.
Article 29, which
Bar.
states that Article 29 states that we should not interfere with the one's religion. But
Right.
Article 13 also states that if any statute hampers the right to equality or any of the fundamental rights, it should be struck down. So
But
according to it,
then
Hindu Marriage Act
according
should be
to
struck down, sir.
technically, the Constitution is giving the right to religious bodies, and because of which, even though Article 13 is to be read, Article 14 is to be read, the autonomy is given guaranteed under Article 29. So now my concern is, what you are trying to seek here is you want to include the community in the gender. We are not denying
So
that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But indeed, Your Lordship. But also, I also contend that the definition of genders, like being it only limited to like physical aspects of it, it's obsolete. We should also consider mental aspects of the gender, like what do you perceive yourself of. But
Your one concern is that you are giving the reason of adoptions, right? Procreation was not a theory. You mean, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. So
Uh,
now a single woman is eligible to adopt a child. So that concept is done with now. Okay. So are you seeking a right of adoption for the LGBT community? Because this court can grant that, but you are asking for marriage. Then why marriage? The court can grant you the right for adoption. Why marriage?
uh, mm, Indeed, Your Lordship, the court can grant adoption rights, but also, if adoption rights should be granted, if in order to like raise the child in various areas of the life, marriage certificate, it will be required because and also a child needs a parental figure and also a maternal figure. It's not always the case, but also it's true that a child needs both maternal and parental figure. And I'm also it also raises further question that homosexuals maternal and paternal figures, but research studies show that it's not about the physical appearance of the persons. It's also about the mentality of the father, which if a female identifies herself as a male, it's the mentality of her which raises the child as a male. Like indeed, even though she is in a woman's body, she will be a father to the child.
So what if tomorrow there rises a cases and concerns of maintenance? Now already the existing laws that are given subject to Domestic Violence Act for women. Then Section 24, maintenance for either spouse. So what is your take on that? How are you going to counter those cases? So see, I'll give you a scenario. Two male persons marrying each other, both not capable of sustaining life. Who will file for maintenance against whom? And who will approach the Domestic Violence for Protection Act? Or you want to change the entire structure?
Your Lordship, the same cases already exist in our community, but it's just a gender difference. Like, we have already seen many couples like who are not able to sustain themselves, but who want to file for the maintenance. My simple explanation to that is, why don't we consider that if we suppose a male and a male is only a physical aspect, but if one of them would identify as a female, that's how the relationship works. Because even gays, for suppose gays, they identify, one of them identifies themselves as a woman, and one of the men who likes being with a man, but the other man considers himself as a woman. So it is a combination of sexual orientation and sexual identification. So if the honorable court and the government uh, consider combination of sexual orientation and identification and includes it in the act, like, it is a personal autonomy of a person to decide what is their sexual orientation, what is their sexual identification.
We are not against that.
No.
I'm on the point, a very simple point: marriage. Why marriage?
Yes, sir. But yes, why marriage?
What makes a difference?
So can I, your honorable lordship, the council please extension of time, because only 1 minute is left.
Don't worry. Ignore Preeti, don't worry. I want to answer.
So marriage, because we have already seen that in our community, there is already less acceptance for anything which goes against our traditions. At least by granting law that homosexual couples can get married under this act, it would give them a certain amount of protection. Say, if a homosexual got married, and if the community, say like in Haryana or some other else, honor killing takes place or the couples are being haunted, it at least they can go and ask for police protection. And it's one of the point. And also, why marriage? Because if say couples, they want to fly abroad, they would need a marriage certificate to that, to live together. They would need a marriage certificate to own a house in many of the places. And they would also need a marriage certificate to say anything, to at least prove that they are legally united. And not only just like, and also if by not granting like civil unions, or say granting like interpreting LGBTQ community in the Hindu Marriage Act as Special Marriage Act.
So you want to say that the Hindu rituals and customs should be done with, and they should be modified?
Actually, sir, no, sir. Actually, in the facts, it's stated that due to colonial or angelic influence on our country, due to colonial and angelic Christianity influence on our country, our rituals were being modified. So actually, there is a ritual in Hinduism that both males, referred to as Ishak and Ishkali, get married during a specific season on the festival day of Holi. It states that in our customs, the homosexual marriage already existed. It's only that
marriages. Are you sure about marriage?
Yes, so I would refer to it as I have read the following in the paper, which was in Lex 40. I'm sorry, so I have to refer to the compendium by stating the exact journal name. But in the Lex 40, and also I don't really exactly remember the exact name of the article, but it refers to as homosexual couples. A man and a marriage between a man and a man, referred to as Ishak and Ishkali, is professed during on the festival of Holi. And also we also see many tales referring as homosexual marriages of Shikandi and gender changes and all the tales. So my point is, Hindu Marriage Act is done according to the rich rites and rituals of the country. So my contention is that during the colonial invasion, somehow our because of the society, it's ever changing, and also there were wars going on. So the society needed more children, so it kind of mainstreamed the marriage in a way to procreate and like gain population and industrialize and capitalize humans. But traditionally, our society only recognized marriage as a love and companionship. And I also state that an ultimate goal of the religion is a man to be happy and achieve his purpose. And if
What I'm trying to say is, what if the court or the legislature are in a capacity to provide a separate act?
okay,
Why
uh,
not?
but because it would again be to the square one. It would again mean to the square one that they are given separate but equal status. It would like
Right.
separate them from the society.
See now, there are Hindu Marriage Act, there is Muslim marriage law, there is a Christian Marriage Act. Now, technically, so are they saying that they are given a separate but equal law? Are they complaining?
But it's their faith, sir. It's what they
Now,
want to follow.
exactly.
That's
Now tell
what.
me. Now,
Yes,
Hindu religion
but
does not permit same-sex marriage. Now
but
you are going to square one. You want to
no,
structure
sir. No,
that.
sir. The my contention is that
Is it not unfair upon that community?
no, sir. Yes, I agree that all of the heterosexual are majority, but we should not also ignore the rights of the minority community, sir.
Nobody is undermining their rights. It's just that the court is giving you an option. What if there is another law? Simple, like a Hindu
So,
marriage law, like the Special Marriage Act, that it's given the right to, once again, a bride
indeed,
and
your
bride.
lordship, but my contention is that they should be given a right just as like all of us. If I
They are
want to
already
get
getting rights.
no, sir.
377 partly scrapped. There is no issue. Now sorry.
So with your
Preeti,
Yes, sir. Sir,
audible, Krishna?
I was unable to hear you, sir,
Okay.
like, for the last
Uh,
sentence.
See, I'll go back to the cases that you have referred at page number 13. You have stated that Sodom and about Gomorrah, right?
Yes,
They
sir.
requested the
It was
God
the
to have a
tales
right. They requested the God to permit them to have a sexual intercourse with whom? The godly person, right?
with the messengers of, yeah, yes.
Right. And the God denied them to have penetrative what?
Uh, they cannot have anal sex, but
Right.
it didn't explicitly say that two men cannot marry anywhere in the Bible
No.
or in
See,
Christianity.
I am on the point that you have referred to the Bible and you have referred to Quran and you have referred to both of these historical figures, and then you are appraising the historical figures, and then you are claiming to do away with the colonial law, as in you are standing on both footings. What exactly you want and why marriage? Because the cases that you have referred do not speak about marriage. The cases that you have referred regarding the Ishaq and Ishaq Kali, the concept, if you have closely read the concept, it is a mock marriage. It is not a marriage they have to spend through entire life. The Hindu customs give us a right in Uttar Pradesh and in Rajasthan areas, even in Madhya Pradesh area and the backward regions of Maharashtra area. A person is married off to a dog, but do they stay together through the entire life? Can the dog be given the status of a bride or a bridegroom?
Your
Now, are
Lordship,
you
the
claiming a mock
contention,
marriage?
it's not, Your Lordship, it's not a marriage because it's between two real persons and it's not between a human and an animal. And a marriage between human and an animal,
So
it's
why not separate
uh,
law? My question will again go to same thing. Why not separate law? Simple. Why trouble somebody's
why not
religion?
separate law?
Nobody is stopping you to continue your religion.
Why not separate law? Because it would again lead to that separate but equal status of the community, and also it would again give a chance to discriminate them against that you don't belong to our religion. It again it also like it's a double-edged sword, sir, to
Okay.
be precise.
Next issue.
And
It's fine. It's fine.
uh,
You can tell.
okay. Should I also continue with the next issue?
Yeah.
Your Lordship, the Council seeks permission to proceed with the issue 2.
Yeah.
Whether or not civil rights must be granted to the members of the community. Your Lordship, it is humbly submitted that civil rights must be granted to the LGBTQ community, as denial of civil rights would deprive them from enjoying all the rights guaranteed under Universal Declaration of Human Rights, International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, Yogyakarta Principles, Constitution of Ripplemento. The above principles and Constitution of Ripplemento being Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 1, which states that all persons are born free and they shall have equality, and Article 3, which states that everybody shall have right to liberty, and Article 5, which states that nobody should be discriminated or tortured, and Article 12, which states that nobody should be interfered. Everybody has a right to personal liberty and privacy, and Article 16, which states that all the persons have right to family and right to marriage, irrespective of their religion, caste, creed, or without any other discrimination. And moving on to International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 6 and 17. Article 6 states that every human being has inherent right to life, and Article 17, no one shall be subjected to unlawful interference, and Article 14, 15, 19, and 21 of the Constitution, right to equality, right against discrimination, freedom of expression, and right to life. Your Lordship, in Jolly George Varghese versus Bank of Cochin, it was held that India has ratified Universal Declaration of Human Rights, International Covenant Civil and Political Rights. Hence, those covenants can be used by the courts for the interpretation of statutes by applying doctrine of harmonization.
What are the major issues that the LGBTQ community is facing? As in, what is the need that you are approaching this court with civil rights? What is stopping them? What are the issues they are facing?
First, being right to maintenance, as you mentioned, sir, and also right to inheritance, and also simple things like owning a joint bank account, nominating each other, lockers, pensions, gratuity papers, Workmen's Compensation Act, and also Payments of Gratuity Act and Minimum Wages Act, and also they are also facing discrimination in the Employment Acts because due to speaking on the employment terms, a Workmen's Compensation Act, Minimum Wages Act, the Payment of the Gratuity Act, and all of this fall under the same category. Many of the homosexuals are being dismissed from their jobs for outing as for coming out and declaring themselves as homosexuals or from the LGBTQ community.
Is it not the sexual orientation should be a secretive, or you want a concept where it has to be out in out?
Sir, can we ask the other petitioner to follow with the proceeding?
Yeah, no problem. I guess Ram Sharan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let Krishna be also on the audio.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, Ram. Yeah.
Can I start issue 3?
I believe that you have read the entire case, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I am on the part where I want you to answer one thing: whether it will not be a weapon to all the LGBTQ community that tomorrow they marry each other only for the purpose of maintenance.
That's already being practiced.
Your Lordship, I think my co-counsel would be answering this question.
Yeah, you are not in a position.
No, yes.
Bonus point. Answer the question. See, my concern to both of you is that you have made a beautiful draft. No doubt about it. That does not mean the respondents haven't made it. Their draft is equivalently pretty challenging to both of you. I'm on the concern that she has raised the issue of marriage and civil right. Technically, once this court has decided that the marriage is not maintainable, under Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act, the court is also providing you an opportunity to argue on the matter, why not another law? Because technically speaking, then Muslims are also getting a different law, Hindus are also getting a different law, Christians are getting a different law. Then why not a separate law? Simple. So she is in a position to have a religious belief, but then the religion that you want to practice is not permitting the same-sex marriage. Then what kind of a religion are you talking about? So this court is not stopping you from practicing your religion.
Indeed, Your Honor, but in all the major Christian communities, the marriages are being solemnized according to their religion, because also traditionally Christianity condemned heterosexual marriages, homosexual marriages or homosexuality, but they are not accepting of it. There are many popes and also imams which are professing that they are homosexual. But it is not stopping them from practicing their religions and being with their love.
Articles where they have stated that they are homosexuals?
Yes, sir.
You attached on your copy?
No, sir. I'm sorry, but I just read for the issues.
Okay, no problem. Ram, issue number 3: whether or not customs, traditions, rites, rituals from an exhaustive code as contested by Republic of Replimento.
May it please make
it's okay. So Ram, relax. Let me tell you one thing. It's might be your second time. You don't have to get panicked.
It's my first time, sir.
Yeah, don't get panicked. Just calm down. I'm like your friend. Don't worry. I have been in your shoes. My concern is very simple. Whether customs, traditions, rites, rituals form an exhaustive role as contested by Republic Replimento. As in, I guess it is speaking only about Article 20. So what is your take? Very simple, very short. What do you believe? Why that article has to go away?
I believe that the customs, traditions, rites, rituals do form an exhaustive code, but they are flawed and plagued by colonial misinterpretation, and dogma. It is humbly submitted that judicial activism is the only way by which it can be corrected. As a constitution of Replimento is Suprema Lex. As customs, traditions, rites, and rituals are dynamic and ever evolving, it is time to modify them and according to the needs of present day society.
So whether the court has the power to overturn the entire concrete laid by itself, or whether this court has the authority to change the law or the article?
Your Lordship, I would like to answer that question. Though it is in the hands of the legislature to amend the act or not, though it is not barring judiciary from exercising judicial scrutiny and judicial review. As it is discriminating and it violates the right to equality. I humbly submit to the court that the court exercises judicial scrutiny and judicial review on the matter.
So you mean to say that the court can amend?
Because it is also partially the court's judiciary's duty and also partly legislature duty. It's not on the one hand.
So Ram, tell me one thing. What if the community, Hindu community, as stated here specifically, or any other religious community, does not wish to recognize the marriage? So what remedy are you providing to me?
I think they should be given a chance whether to accept or not. And
as in, do you not feel that if this court states that the gender shall also include transgender, because Hindu Marriage Act till today does not have the gender changed. So technically, even if they are granted the gender, the two separate parts, part 1 bride, part 2 bridegroom, the status cannot be interchanged with the LGBT community, as in two males, two females. That law is not there. So do you say that if this court changes that term, is it not unfair upon the minor, as in the community, religious communities, because they are not recognizing it? Is it not unfair upon them?
Honorable Your Lordship, It is a kind of unfair against the community, but the larger view we have to hold that human rights are being violated, because right to life is the highest one and right to equality is the highest,
Nobody is
in my
challenging
view.
that, but that
Yeah,
does not
but
mean that they are given the right to marry only under that specific act, when you
yes,
already have a remedy of different law.
but they should be given at least it should be up to the religious institutions whether to accept it or not. Because according to, I'm sorry, sir, again I'm quoting like off the compendium. But according to Wikipedia, what I read was, I'm sorry, sir, I'm quoting off the compendium. But
Krishna,
the hype,
Krishna.
but
Wikipedia
but
can be edited by any person.
but
Never
sir,
ever, never ever,
but the
never ever refer to Wikipedia
but the
ever.
high but it's a statement, so it's not a statue. So but it's the high priest of the Padmanabha
Never,
Swami temple said that it's ultimately the marriage between two souls, but not two bodies.
never cite Wikipedia, please, please. Wikipedia is not the correct source. Please, before any court, before any moot court, ever do that, because that is a huge mistake. I am just leaving apart this Wikipedia part because I have been in your shoes doing the same mistakes. Never do that. Okay, Ram. Now, as per the issue number 4, what do you believe if tomorrow, technically what you have stated over here is the whether or not customs, as in you have referred to the Hebrew Bible wonderful love between David and Jonathan. I want to I want a very simple answer. When the law that you have referred over here does not permit the sexual intercourse for anal sex, it is not speaking about marriage in first place. Why this? Why this petition?
I didn't get your question, Your Lordship.
Purpose of referring this Sodom and Gomorrah, why David and Jonathan? They are not asking for marriage.
We have mentioned it to state that it's in history these things have occurred.
Technically, now your partner just a moment ago told me that the colonial laws have to go away. The colonial laws are a development of the prehistoric period. So you want the prehistoric period and not the colonial law? Is it what you are saying? Ram, have you read the case? Please tell me. Who's made the draft? Is it Krishna alone made the draft? Krishna appears to be the standing counsel. Ram, you are getting too stressed. My question is very simple. Why refer to something which is not speaking about that? The court has not stopped you, prohibited you from having sexual relationships. The court has not stopped you from having your civil rights. But the court wants a proper explanation why marriage and why only under these 2 acts. Why not a separate act?
Honorable.
Ram. It's okay, Ram. It's fine. I'm not grilling you. I'm just asking because, see, you are to be aware of the entire facts. Because you never know where the meteor can come from. So tell me, explain. Why marriage? What makes a difference? It's okay if you can't answer, it's fine. You can say, I skip, it's fine. It's fine, no problem. Preeti, we'll move to the respondents.
So, sir, we'll request the respondent to start the proceeding. Respondent, are you ready?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. You can start the proceeding.
Okay. May it please your lordship, representing the respondents on behalf of the Republic of Replemento before this honorable court today, this is Eldrin Zotenmoy from Team Eldrin Zotenmoy and David Malsom Kluanga. With the permission of this court, I shall be reserving 15 minutes for addressing the first and second issues. Yeah. My co-counsel will address the third and fourth issues, and we would like to reserve 5 minutes for rebuttal. The respondents in this regard have submitted 4 major arguments to refute the claims of the applicants. Yeah. I ask permission of the Honorable Court to proceed with the first argument.
Yes, please.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The first contention that counsel for the respondents put forth is that the Hindu and Special Marriage Act cannot be read in a manner to include members of the LGBTQIA community. Your Lordship, when we look into Section 5, Subsection 3, and Section 7 of the Hindu Marriage Act, it stipulates that ceremonies of a Hindu marriage using the term bride and bridegroom, these terminologies are expressly used, and this indicates that this act pertains only to heterosexual couples only. Your Lordship, the dictionary meaning, the universal meaning of bride is a woman who is about to get married or has just got married. This is taken from Cambridge Dictionary, and the bridegroom, the definition of bridegroom is a man who is about to get married or has just got married. This is not only Lordship, this is the traditional principle of statutory interpretation, and these definitions of bride and bridegroom, they are gender conforming. Compliance must be taken in Section 3A of the said Act, wherein the expressions customs and usage are being used. This signifies that any rule which have been continuously and uniformly observed for a long time, since time immemorial, has obtained the force of law among the Hindu community in any local tribe, community, or group or family. Even before the existence of this, the codification of the Hindu Marriage Act, these practices have been used.
And my question to you is,
yes, Your Lordship,
whether something that has been carried on since centuries,
yes, Your Lordship,
law. Okay. Now tell me, what if the law that you are assuming to be a 100-year-old law, 100-year-old tradition, is itself is inhuman?
Your Lordship,
whether this court has the authority to go away with the law or no, or the tradition or no?
Your Lordship, the observance of these terminologies, bride and bridegroom, to be heterosexual is now an integral part of this Hindu religion. Since it is an integral part of Hindu religion, it attracts the provisions. It attracts Article 26 of the Constitution, which protects administration of religious institutions, religions.
And then tell me, if I am to consider the entire act only on what has been carried on for centuries.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Then do you mean to say that the system of sati was a valid one because it was carried on for centuries? Then why go away with it? Because it has been a tradition.
Your Lordship, sati was an evil act, an evil and ingenious act, and it cannot be compared with the observance of something which is confined to marriage. Sati is evil, and it has been abolished long ago. However, it cannot be compared and contrasted with marriage. Your Lordship,
why stop marriage then? Because
Your Lordship, sati is against public order, is against public morality and health. Your Lordship, it is envisaged in Article 25. When we compare Article 25, right to freedom of profession, and Article 26, it is expressly written in Article 25 that Article 25 will be subject to public order, morality, and health and other provisions of this part. However, the observance of this usage, bride and bridegroom, a heterosexual union, is religious administration, religious affairs, and it is under Article 26. And Article 26, when read into the provision, it is subject to public.
Tell me, you are appearing for the state now. You are appearing for the government of India.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Tell me, you do not have any problem with their civil union, right? For LGBT community. You are not against the civil union, right?
Yes, Your Lordship. Yes, Your Lordship.
Then
We
what
are
difference
not.
that is make if they are granted the permission of marriage?
Your Lordship, we are not opposing the civil union of the LGBT, the rainbow community. However, we are opposing the civil union so that they carve out, so that they pervade religious sentiments, Article 26 of other people.
See, there are transcripts and bits where the law states any person. The definition of person now, as per this court's acceptance of the third gender, extends to that the third party. So now the definition that is used in very pretty much transcript sections of the both acts states person. So they are now considered as a person. So they have every right to do a marriage under those acts. What stops them?
Yes, Your Lordship. We do not contest that they are not categorized as a person. However, their contention, our counsel, counsel for the petitioner's contention is that it is abrogative of Article 14, 15, and 21 of the Constitution. However, it is to be noted that these articles are not absolute. They are subject to reasonable classification. They cannot be drawn out in such a way that pervades Article 26 of the Constitution. And if we look into the provisions of Article 26 of the Constitution, it is only subject to public moral, public health, and public order, and not it is not written and not other provisions of this part 3 of the Constitution, Article 14 to 32. It is not subject to other provisions of this part, Your Lordship.
Tell me one thing.
Yes, Your Lordship.
If there is an enactment of a different law,
yes, Your Lordship,
whether the government is in a position to enact a different law,
yes, Your Lordship,
so they can enact a different law for marriage?
Yes, Your Lordship, but the contention of the petitioner is that Hindu marriage, these personal laws should be read so as to include the homosexuals, this rainbow community. However, in its current form, if it was to be reframed, then it will hurt the religious sentiments of the majority of the Hindus.
So now tell me one thing. If this concept of civil union that you previously stated is not a bar, so how will they exercise their civil rights? Because unless and until there is a marriage, there cannot be a claim of maintenance. Unless and until there is a marriage, there cannot be a claim of joint locker. There cannot be a claim of a passport having the status as married.
Yes, Your Lordship.
What are your solutions to that?
Your Lordship, civil union, those using the privilege of civil union also enjoys the privileges or just as the same as marriages. And it has been practiced in the United States and the Canada also.
So India being the member of the United Nations, you do agree that the civil unions concept is a valid concept?
Yes, Your Lordship, so but our contention is that, Your Lordship, our contention is that civil rights cannot be given to the rainbow community in such a way that pervades Article 26 of the Constitution. We are not opposing civil rights of this community. However, we are opposing the civil rights granted in such a way that pervades, violates the personal laws.
So what if there is one person from the LGBTQ community, one is Hindu and the
yes,
other is Christian?
Yes, Your Lordship.
And they both want to enter into a marriage. So
yes,
you do not have the problem with that.
Your Lordship.
One person male from Hindu community, one person male from Christian community. You do not have a problem with that, their marriage, right? But not under the act.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yeah. So now tell me one thing.
Yes, Your Lordship.
If a person marries under a different act,
yes,
and still wishes to as in follow his own religion.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Whether he can?
Your Lordship, there are some improvement. There are some amendments which could be made. In the Special Marriage Act, in the Special Marriage Act right now, in its present form, in its current form, persons from different faiths should denounce their religion. And if it was to be amended, this act, so as not to let the members of the different community to denounce their religion, that is possible, Your Lordship.
But they can practice their religion, or they should stop?
Yes, Your Lordship. Their right to practice their religion is envisaged, is protected under Article 25 of the Constitution.
Okay. Next issue.
Your Lordship, regardless, with regards to the Special Marriage Act, being a secular legislation like I've contended before, in its present form, in its current form, this act also applies only to heterosexual couples, wherein the wordings male must complete the age of 21 and female the age of 18 years are used.
But
Your
what
Lordship,
if both the partners are male 21? What is the problem?
Your Lordship, the implied notion when passing this legislation is that only biological male and biological women be married.
But who is going to decide what biological gender they are coming birth to? Because there is a case of an athlete. Since there was no competition for transgenders, the transgender person had to participate in a female competition because the appearance looked female.
Yes, Your Lordship.
They do not have any scope. And once when she was caught, she ended up committing suicide. Right?
Yes, Your Lordship.
So it is not in her hands to what biological gender or what biological preference or what natural preference they are going to have for sexual orientation.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So you are following a biological concept which is not in their hands.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So if two biological persons are born having sexual orientation for each other, what's stopping them?
Your Lordship, biological factors is in no one's hand, and we do not with regards to the Special Marriage Act, we just contend that in its current form, unless and until it is amended, unless and until it is legislated, it cannot apply to homosexual couples.
Okay.
And Your Lordship, when we transplant Western ideologies into India, we must look the societal and intellectual differences. This has been observed in by the Supreme Court in Jagmohan Singh versus the state of Uttar Pradesh. And we also put reliance on Union of India and another versus Deokin Agarwal, wherein the Supreme Court laid down a dictum that the court cannot rewrite or recast or reframe the legislation for the very good reason that it has no power to legislate, and the power to legislate has not been conferred on the courts. And the courts cannot add words which are not there, which are not in the Special Marriage Act unless and until it is amended. Okay. Your Lordship, in light of the above contention, we humbly submit that the intention is crystal clear, and the solemnization as a male-female binary according to the traditional personal laws that envisages only heteronormative union and same-sex marriages fails to correspond with the Hindu and Special Marriage Act. Asking permission to this honorable court to put forth the second contention.
Yes, please.
Your Lordship, counsel for the respondents submits that civil rights cannot be granted to the members of the community in such a way that pervades Article 26 of the Constitution. Counsel for the respondents humbly submitted that even though citizens of Replemento are guaranteed the right to equality before law and are protected from discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, these rights are not absolute, and they are subject to reasonable classification, and they cannot be carved out in such a way that hampers and impede upon Article 26 of the Constitution. Your Lordship?
Tell me. If two people in a civil union, because you are denying the part of marriage, now in a civil union, whether they will be permitted to open a bank locker because it is not going against the Article 26.
Your Lordship, may you please repeat the question?
if two people, civil rights, one of the main civil right is that in a marriage, two people will have a right to hold a joint account, the right of maintenance, the right to adopt a child.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So if all these are available in a civil union,
yes, Your Lordship,
they can practice all the concepts of marriage, right?
yes, Your Lordship,
And it is not going against Article 26.
yes, Your Lordship.
So you do not have the problem if they exercise their civil rights amidst a civil union.
Yes, Your Lordship. However,
so
yes, Your Lordship.
Two male persons marrying each other can adopt a child.
Currently, according to the adoption rules, for example, if a person wants to adopt a female child, that person must be a female. So it goes against the LGBTQ community, wherein those persons would be gays, and it means that those gays could not adopt the female child. And
but
yes,
they can adopt a male child.
Yes, Your Lordship. But
they can.
Yes, they could adopt a male child, Your Lordship, but yes, Your Lordship.
A male in
yes,
no
Your
position
Lordship.
Adopt a child.
Requirements are there. Those requirements say that a person who wants to adopt a child must be mentally fit, and those members of the LGBTQI community have been sometimes referred to as those mentally unfit. And however, our contention currently right now is that we are not, in a strict sense, opposing for the civil rights to be granted to the members of this community. We are just opposing civil rights granted in such a way that pervades and that in such a way that touch upon the personal laws of different religions in India.
Okay.
Your Lordship, personal laws do not derive their validity on the ground that they have been passed or made by a legislature or other competent authority within the territory of Republic of Replemento. And the foundational sources of religions in India are their respective scriptural texts of Hindus, Christians, Muslims, and taking into consideration the heteronormative state of the Republic of Replemento and the sanctity put on personal laws, to the extent that the right to manage religious affairs guaranteed under Article 26 are not subject to other provisions of Part 3 of the Constitution. This implies that the Constitution, the framers of the Constitution, respect the personal laws to the extent that personal laws enjoys sanctity, constitutional sanctity. And with due regards, we submit, Counsel for the Respondent submits that the interests of the section or community is, however, so important, is secondary to the interests of the country when personal laws are concerned, as observed by the 7-judge bench in State of Gujarat versus Mirzapur Moti Qureshi Kasab. Asking permission for my co-counsel to put forth his arguments. Thank you, Your Lordship.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
Yeah. Yes, David.
May I start my argument on the third issue?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Your Lordship. The third major argument that the Counsel for Respondent have put forward is that the customs tradition which will form an exhaustive code. Your Lordship, due to the customs of heteronormative institutions, the custom, tradition, rites, and rituals of religion in Republic of Replemento form an exhaustive code, so as not to include members of the LGBTQ community. This was practiced since time immemorial. And Your Lordship, this cannot be abrogated merely on the basis of right to equality, which is not absolute. We are in a pluralistic society and secular polity, so constitutional morality would reflect that the followers of various sects have the freedom to practice their faith in accordance with the tenets of their religion. This may be irrelevant whether the practice is not rational or logical. Your Lordship, notions of rationality cannot be invoked in matters of religion by code. Religious customs and practice cannot be solely tested on the touchstone of Article 14.
David, is it not inhuman that, David, listen to me. Is it not inhuman if two partners of same sex marry under a Special Marriage Act if the Special Marriage Act is amended, as what Aldrin told earlier, that Special Marriage Act can have introductions of amendments and permit the couples to marry? Now, is it not against their personal choice of following a religion? Because you are forcing them to denounce their religion in order to get married under Special Marriage Act.
Yes.
Are you not creating a pressure upon them to go away with their religion, despite there being already an article giving them the right to follow their own religion as per their own beliefs?
No, Your Lordship. Well, their respective religion does not permit them to marry as per their customs and traditions. If they want to marry in a Special Marriage Act, they must denounce their religion.
Is it not against their beliefs?
Yes, maybe, but if they want to marry as if they were homosexuals, I think they must denounce their religion or must denounce their sexuality.
Sexuality. Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Your Lordship. Equality and non-discriminations are certainly on one facet of morality. On one hand, Your Lordship, the respondent has also submitted that there is a requirement of a balance to be struck between the principles of equality and non-discrimination, and the protections of the cherished liberties of faith, belief, and worship guaranteed by Article 25 and 26 to persons belonging to all religions in a secular polity. On the other hand,
tell me one thing. Okay. If a person marries, suppose if they are not permitted to marry a person from the same-sex marriage, but they are still having a civil union with them, they still maintain a relationship with them. Okay. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So the government does not have a problem of having a civil union between the persons of same sex, but are opposing their marriage. Is it not like they are compelled to force, and they are forced to hide their identities of being of sexual orientation? As in, if a girl likes a girl, you are permitting her to stay in a civil union but not marriage. Why? What's the problem? You are anyways permitting them.
Yeah, Your Lordship, the code permits, but marriage is like a sacrament. But in
David, can you please repeat? You're not audible.
Okay, am I audible? In some religion, marriage is like a sacrament. In Christian also, marriage is like a sacrament. But in the Muslim, marriage is consensual. But I think that doesn't matter at all. So if two persons want to live in a civil union, I think that's their choice. But marriage is violative of their religion.
Now see, as already been suggested by the petitioners, in Rig Veda, one of the sacred texts of Hinduism mentions the transgender marriage is performed during the time of Holi, where Ishak and bridegroom Ishak Kali, the bride, are both men. It can be deduced that religions never prohibited same-sex marriage. Now, if I am to assume that a marriage ceremony, a mock marriage ceremony is introduced, then you are technically accepting all the rituals of a marriage. So technically, as per the norms of marriage, having a physical relationship is not a compulsion, right? These mock marriages are marriages after all. Whether if they are staying for 1 day, 2 day, or traditionally on the same day, having a physical relationship is not a precondition for marriage. Then why stop marriages?
Well, Your Lordship, I think marriage is like, as I mentioned earlier, it is a ceremonial or a sacred. So I think marriage cannot be between the same sex if we have the same legislation and the constitution. But if amended, I think maybe they can be married. But if we follow our legislations and also our respective religion, I think marriage cannot be.
David, let's be very simple. What is a precondition, as in condition for a valid Hindu marriage? What is the condition of a valid Hindu marriage? What are the conditions? I believe you have read the Interact.
Yes, there must be
David, you take your time. Until then, Aldrin, you tell me one thing.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yeah. So you believe that the sexual intercourse is not a precondition for marriage. You believe that?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Right. Then the readings of Rig Veda clearly state that the mock marriages have been taking place in India since a long time.
Yes, Your Lordship.
These are also a part of morality and a tradition being followed by the respective religions.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So technically, sexual orientation has never been an issue, right?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Then what prohibits the marriage?
Because of what has been addressed by the petitioners, the colonial era, during the colonial era and the codification of the Hindu Code bills, the terminologies bride and bridegroom have been specifically used. So unless and until these terminologies are amended, then there cannot be a marriage between members of this community, even regardless of the fact that members have been marrying under those mock marriages. And like you've said, Your Lordship, these mock marriages have not been taken seriously, and they cannot be deemed as an integral part of the religion.
They are taken as an integral part of a religion for a purpose. So that is the petitioner's query. There is a purpose. The sexual orientation, sexual relation is not their purpose. Their purpose is civil rights.
Yes, Your Lordship.
What difference does it do if they are permitted the marriage? What problem you have? In context to what the tradition has been followed in Ishak and Ishak Kali.
Your Lordship, we do not have a problem if members of the LGBTQIA community are granted civil rights. However, it must be granted to not hurt the religious sentiments of the religions, of the personal religions in India.
David, you read that part? Conditions?
Yes, sir.
What are the conditions, David?
The bridegroom must complete the age of 18 years, and the bride must complete the age of 15 years.
15 years? Bride? David?
Oh, sorry, 18, sir.
Colonial law, David, missing some part.
I apologize, Your Lordship.
It's okay. It's okay. Krishna, you want to rebut?
Your Lordship, I have a rebuttal for the respondents.
Yeah.
Aldrin, the Council Aldrin just mentioned that they don't have a problem with granting civil rights, but they cannot hurt the civil, like religious sentiments. So, if in case if they grant civil rights, say, then they also grant adoption rights. Civil adoption rights are a part of civil rights, right? So, if I adopt a child, and the child is a straight, and further in time, if a child wishes to marry according to their religion, will the religion allow a homosexual parents to marry the child according to the religion? Obviously, religion won't allow the homosexual partners to allow the child according to the rites and rituals of the religion. Because when the child is getting married, the parents also play an important role in the rituals and rites. So unless there is an amendment which states that Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act and all the personal faiths, that the homosexual couples can be read in the act, like it would amount to barring them from practicing their own religion, because not only they would be barred from practicing their own religion, their further generations would be barred from practicing the religion. It would be expulsion of the whole set from practicing their religion, and it would amount to violation of equality and right to life, Article 21, Article 14 and Article 21.
Krishna, tell me, what part is religion playing? Why so importance to religion? Why not denounce the religion itself?
Because religion, as per the Honorable Judge, Your Lordship, it is humbly submitted that as in the Indian society or any other society, we are raised, even as kids, we are raised by stating, we are quoting, parents always quote Bible or Quran or Gita or anything. Religion is imbibed in our soul. Even our names come from our religions.
So tell me if you have been
identity, so we cannot revoke it further.
See. If you have been learning the religion since your childhood, and now it has come into your soul that the religion is an undeniable part of a human body. Technically, the religion is never teaching you to be homosexual, but still you are fighting a case for a homosexual who is following a religion that does not permit it. So why religion? Why not denounce it? You are any which is not following the religion.
Like if one denounces the religion, it amounts to denouncing his own faith. And also, if one part of the religion doesn't comply with us, it doesn't mean that we unfollow all the rules. Like it taught us, all the norms and all the like morals it taught us. It's almost the case that
what I'm trying to say is a religion. What I'm trying to say is a religion has a set of norms. You either take it, you cannot choose what you want to take.
Sir, then it is humbly, Your Lordship, it is humbly submitted that then even in Hinduism, like bigamy was having multiple wives was permitted at one point of time. Now it is not, because the law has amended it and it states that it is not the right norm to follow, because law is the guiding norm for the society. So it is humbly submitted that the judiciary take the judiciary act upon the judicial take upon the role as it is the suprema, constitution is the suprema lex of the country, and change the norm so that our future generations don't suffer much. Because as in like early 1900s, people weren't out as much. They were homosexuals, but they weren't out as much because of the stigma. But the times are changing. If you consider it, almost the homosexual population has more than 10 times in India now, what it was in 19th century. So around next 10 to 20 years, we can expect that it would be as much double as it is now. So in the long run, we would be discriminating a large chunk of society from exercising their right of religion, and by not granting them civil rights, we would be denying them the right to live under Article 21 of the Constitution.
Ram, I have a question for you.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Article 25 entitles every individual to practice his own religion and
Yes, Your
belief.
Lordship.
Okay. So if my belief does not permit any homosexual or person of having a sexual orientation, preferably of the same sex, is it not injustice upon me? Because I chose a religion that does not permit this, because I did not choose. In fact, I am born in a religion and I have been taught about a religion that does not have these practices. And now if somebody comes up, tries to amend it, is it not injustice upon me? Think. Aldrin, you have any rebuttal for Krishna?
Yes, Your Lordship. Before putting forth the theoretical part of Sir rebuttal, I would like to sort out the technical errors that the counsel for the petitioners have committed. Firstly, in their statement of jurisdiction, they have written down, the respondent maintains that no violation of rights has taken place. Therefore, this honorable court need not entertain its jurisdiction in this writ petition. They have filed a writ petition under Article 32, but in this same statement, they said that this honorable court should not entertain this jurisdiction, its jurisdiction in this writ petition. Your Lordship, also, our counsel, Krishna, have mentioned that if one identifies as a man or a woman, they will be allowed to marry. However, that argument goes against their contention because members of this LGBT community does not want to be identified as a man or a woman. They have been opposing against that. So our co-counsel have contradicted herself, and also they have in section in part 3 of their submission, they have disclosed facts on the teachings of on the accounts of the Bible, wherein Sodom and Gomorrah was mentioned. Even though there is no express written that homosexuality is not permitted in the Christian religion, the implied notion is that homosexuality is not is prohibited in the in this religion. Furthermore, there is a reason why there is this notion, because diseases like HIV/AIDS have been prevalent, especially in members of the LGBT community, which researchers have been proving. And also in their fourth contention, they have raised while civil unions is not sufficient in most of the part in their fourth contention. However, in the last part of their contention, they said that these members of this community must have a choice to either marry according to their religion or prefer a civil union as the rest of other citizens. They have contradicted themselves once again while saying that civil unions is not a viable option. They said that civil unions must be given as well. So our co-counsel have contradicted themselves. And also with regards,
one thing, if the part of government is not having any problem with the civil union, how
yes,
do you tend to tackle the situation that may arise out of transfer of property after a death of a partner?
This situation may be tackled by your lordship by conforming, for example, if we take the Hindu, by conforming the religious scriptures, such as my co-counsel, such as the counselors for the petitioners have raised, conforming the religious teachings with the Hindu Marriage Act, and if members of the LGBT are categorized not as bride or bridegroom, as a separate community.
See, Aldrin, technically, the Transfer of Property Act will not come to their aid. That is what you mean, right?
Your Lordship, to attract the privileges of the Transfer of Property Act, they must be, for example, they have disclosed that Employment Provident Fund Scheme and all the other legal benefits. To attract those privileges, most of them, they must be married. So in order to be married,
that's what she's fighting for.
Yes, Your Lordship, they must be married. However, if they are to be married, Hindu personal laws and the personal laws should be read in conformity once again with the religious teachings, Rig Veda and all. And or the situation could be tackled by civil union, wherein civil union will be persons marrying under the civil union will be given the same status as those privileged enjoyed in their own personal laws without touching the sentiments of those religions.
Ram, you ready with the answer? Yeah, Kirti. Yeah, Krishna.
May I interrupt?
Yeah.
Council Alrin has mentioned a few rebuttals.
Yeah.
My that is because in all of the states it's mentioned in the fact that writ petitions were filed. Article 32 of the Constitution deals with the writ petitions. We mentioned that the jurisdiction must not be entertained because Supreme Court sees the matter on all the cases to transfer.
Your Lordship, but the council is appearing before this court.
And also the Alrin didn't read my whole memorial as in with relation with the correlation with the points, and he has just picked out the separate points.
Let me clear out both councils that I am not fighting on the clause of jurisdiction because the court has asked all the petitions to itself. So let's just forget that, but don't worry, Krishna, don't worry. He's doing his part. You have done your part. I'll not be judging on that. I want the answer from Ram if you want 1 point. Oh my God, Ram, you had so much time. It's okay now. It's okay. Preeti, we are done here.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, we would like to have your feedback.
Krishna, you have done an excellent job, represented the entire case very briefly. Your view and the role of a council to fight till the end and to stick to the point. It's very difficult because several times I tried to divert you from the topic. You have done your best and I hope you will continue doing it. There are certain changes that you will have to preferably make because in your compendium on behalf of plaintiff, petitioner. Little changes. You know why I make these changes? Because today you are in a moot court. Tomorrow you might appear before the Honorable Supreme Court. All these things are a reason why several of the petitions are kept pending for compliance. And good drafting, the references that you have taken of Sunil Babu Pant versus Nepal government, I believe that you could have studied it more, as in you could have stated that it is just an observation, because I was expecting an answer that it is a common law country. And eventually being a part of an Asian country and predominantly having a population of mostly Hindu region, that should have come. That was missing. Then you have referred to the case law of Ontario, Halpern and AG of Canada. You know, the reason is that Canadian population, not mostly of Hindu religion, the case being specifically to the point of Hindu religion, I was expecting your angle that since India has a law which is adopted mostly from the Western culture, the good moves that the Western community has introduced should also be enacted. That I was expecting, what I believe that might help. And with respect to this one, Raj Gopal versus State of Tamil Nadu, you have mentioned regarding Article 21, it is a right to be left alone.
Your Lordship, right to be left alone in the reference with their choice of their the choice of their sexual orientation, choice regarding choice regarding the children.
That had to come. You have just referred the wordings. Why? Because tomorrow if a murderer commits a murder and says Article 21, right to be left alone, can't happen. So those points have to be specifically. Now coming to Ram. Ram, this is your first time. So I believe you have heard the arguments of all the councils. You have to be very aware of the entire case. You never know from where the question will come. You first have to stick to, see, whenever I'm giving it out to all the councils, whenever a moot court you're representing, the first thing you do is stick to the issues. Sometimes the judge will ask you a question which might not be related to the issues. In such a situation, once you hear the question, take your time, have a look at the issues, and then you have an opportunity to rebut saying that, excuse me, this is not the concept. That has to come just for the sake of answering. It is not there. Eventually, at the end of the day, when you appear in front of the court is going to be stuck to the point of issue. So because Aldrin, when I asked you what's stopping about the marriage, you made sure that you gave me the answer as to the enactment of the code is of such a nature that does not permit the law. Simple as that. And the same question I asked Krishna. Krishna specifically stated that the definition states as a person. That was specific. When the same question I asked to Ram, you could not answer. Because either you have not read the part where Krishna was representing, and David, you have not read the act, because Hindu Marriage Act, the first condition is Saptapadi. I believe you have read the part where Saptapadi is important, and nowhere in the entire act it is stated that for the commencement of a marriage, sexual intercourse is necessary. Not having a sexual intercourse could be a ground for divorce, but not for a marriage. That was expected from David. And from Ram, the question that I asked you lastly, that what is your take on the section Article 25? As in, is it not good? As in, I am born in a community. I am born in a Hindu community. I have been taught through the teachings, and I have been told that homosexual and having same-sex marriages are not applicable in our religion. I am being taught like that. So if I grow up and a person from my community wants to have something else, otherwise he wants to utilize his sexual orientation, is it not that it is against me? Can I not claim that I am not taught this way? How he is having this right? That is going to go against me. Now this is not just about me. It goes against hundreds of followers who are in the community. Now, as a government, the government also has to have the opinion of that community, because that community has been practicing the tradition for several of years. But equally, the government also has to look after the individual rights. And the Supreme Court, in accordance to having the individual rights, cannot overrule something which is not there, as in not in my authority. The Supreme Court is always going to say that I can, explain, I can brief it down, but I cannot change something. Right. So you have to, Ram, you were expected to answer that biologically how a person is born is not in his hand. Tomorrow, what religion, if there has been introductions in the laws where a person is also in a position to change his religion. So it cannot be stated that he could be only a Hindu, he could be only a Christian. It comes to the question of his choice. Now, keeping the Hindu religion and then entering into a same-sex marriage. Now that concern, if it is to be briefed down, I was expecting from you that having a belief in God, religion is not a 10-pointer system, as in it is not a codified law. Religion could be anything. You could like 10 points of it, you could disown 2 of it. It is your right. That is a belief. And that is what the Supreme Court guarantees you under the Constitution. That was expected from you, Ram. And that point was missing because you had to focus on one point. When I'm asking you a question, why? Then why you denounce your religion? Why not denounce your religion? You have to say religion is not a codified law. Religion is a wide ocean. There could be a possibility that I sail in a boat. I could not see the entire ocean, but you saw the ocean, you liked the ocean. That does not mean that you hate the religion. That was expected from you, Ram. And on part of it, Krishna, you have done exceptionally well. And Aldrin, brilliant, hard work, read the entire work of petitioners as well. Really good. No comments up to that. Aldrin, you're doing really nice. And David, you had to be very specific. When I'm asking what is the condition of marriage, simple. One should be a boy, one should be a girl. Boy's age 21, girl's age 18. The definition of person can be interpreted into the definition of being a bride and bridegroom, because initial definitions are taken as bride and bridegroom. That was the simple answer. And sexual preference was not mentioned. Simple. I hope that in your next moot courts, you will refer to this situation more briefly. Tomorrow, case law could be of any nature. Just make sure before you go into the entire research, just make sure what is the issue. Simple. And stick to the issue. Because most of the time, the moot court judge, what he's trying to do is, he's trying to put you questions which are not part of that application or your petition. And what you put, you should remember what you have put. Because for the part of Ram, it was in his petition that they are not given the property rights and all. It is expected from him to answer the question. So I hope you have understood it. And Krishna, Aldrin, beautiful, very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Very challenging. Studio ground.
Thank you, sir. I hope the participant had learned so much from you.
I have learned so much from Aldrin and Krishna, truly.
Thank you, sir. With your due permission, can we leave the meet?
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.